So the first time I got my period, I had like a 3-week-long period the first time I got my period.
Oh my gosh. You bled for 3 weeks straight? Did you know that wasn't normal?
Well, yeah. I was like, what is happening to me?
Hi, Seiso.
Hey, Azura. And I'm Germaine.
And this is another episode of CRAVINGS podcast. Today we have a special guest in the house. We're going to be talking about something, once again, very, very intimate. But first of all, let us welcome Maya Kale.
Hi. My name is Maya. I am turning 30 this year.
Same!
1994 babies.
Yeah.
Woo!
I'm a Leo. What are you?
Aries Taurus.
Okay.
Like, I'm a cusp.
Oh, I'm a Gemini. Wait, what are you?
I'm a Leo.
Very
obviously.
I
You'll figure that out in this
Wait,
episode.
what month is that?
July.
August.
And June?
July, August. Yes.
Well, Maya's a go-getter, as her Leo placement suggests. Tell us more about what you've been up to.
So my sister and I, who's also my co-founder, started Moom 2.5 years ago now. I guess I can tell everyone a little bit about the background of how we started Moom. I was diagnosed with PCOS when I was 15 years old. It's a hormonal imbalance. When I was diagnosed, I went to the doctor and they gave me the birth control pill as the kind of like blanket solution for my PCOS. I struggled a lot with it. It works for some people, but for me, it didn't. And when I decided to get off it and look for sort of natural solutions to PCOS, I was super lost. I felt like I didn't know where to begin. And years later, when I ended up finding what worked for me, I just felt like so many other women had gone through the same experience.
Right. PCOS means polycystic ovarian syndrome, by the way, for people who don't know.
Yes, sorry. And it's a hormonal imbalance that comes up in different ways depending on the person. So it can look different for pretty much everyone, but there's a couple of like really obvious symptoms that everyone has. So we started Moom because of my experience with that, essentially. And what we do at Moom is we create natural remedies for the modern Asian woman, but we do that in the form of expert-backed supplements. So we work with nutritionists, naturopaths, gynecologists, doctors, dermatologists, a range of different practitioners to create supplements for the modern Asian woman. We saw a lot of supplements coming from the US, from Australia, all these different places. And we felt like in Singapore and in Southeast Asia, there were really brands that were tailored to what I consider the modern Asian woman. And that's how we are where we are today.
And that's how Moom came to be.
Yeah.
Moom, M-O-O-M. Where's the name from?
It's such a funny and silly reasoning behind the name. So before we started, we wanted to name it something that didn't necessarily mean anything because we were like, what if we changed up what Moom became, or what if we changed what the company became? And we started reading about how founders name their businesses. We were like,
Actually, how do they do that?
Randomnamegenerator.com.
No, we literally did that. And then it was all things like, I don't know, really cringy stuff. So then we read an article about Gwyneth Paltrow and Goop.
Of course, yeah.
And she basically said that one of her advisors told her that internet and e-commerce businesses that had 2 O's in them were always really successful.
Oh, really?
Google, Facebook, Zoom. There's a
Yo,
lot.
we need to
Yahoo.
rename to Whoosh.
Whoosh podcast. Yeah.
Welcome to the Whoosh podcast.
I love that. So that's how Moom. And then M, of course,
And then
Maya
we were
and Millie,
sitting at like
right?
the family dinner table,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
my mom was like, "Hey, why don't you do M&M?" We're like, "That's so stupid." And then we're like, "Actually, that sounds kind of cute."
After you think about it.
Yeah, after we think about it.
But I love that this is what you guys decided to do, because it's crazy how many women don't even know that they suffer from hormonal imbalances.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there's a difference between just regular hormonal changes and imbalances. In fact, 80% of women don't even know they have these issues, and 70% of women are unaware of things like PCOS that may have manifested from their hormonal irregularities. So today we want to talk about all these things, and if you're listening and you think like, hey, maybe I have a hormonal imbalance, you might want to get that checked out. It's always better to do it earlier rather than later.
But first of all, Maya, what is hormonal imbalance?
Yeah, so I mean, it again can present in women in various ways, but our hormones are basically like the masterminds of our bodies. They signal so many things. There's a lot of things we don't even realize hormones are related to, like stress. We were talking about this earlier, but essentially they play a role in like everything that your body does. And so when something's out of balance, there's usually a symptom that feels a little out of whack in your body. That in women can present as like irregular periods, really bad, painful menstrual cramps, mood swings that are abnormally large before your period. It could be acne, hair loss, hair growth. Like there's a lot of, I guess, physical symptoms you can feel. And then things that we don't normally talk about when it comes to hormones is also mental symptoms. So you could have like depression, anxiety that actually stem from hormonal imbalances as well. But essentially they play a role in everything your body does. And anytime you're feeling a little out of whack, that is something that maybe is longer lasting than just like a flu or a cold. It could be related to your hormones.
So when you found out at 15, what did your symptoms look like?
So I'm almost like a very classic PCOS case.
Like irregular periods or no period.
The day I got my period, from that day onwards, my period was irregular.
Oh.
So the first time I got my period,
Yeah.
I had like a 3-week-long period the first time I got my
Oh
period.
my gosh.
Yeah.
You bled for 3 weeks
Yes,
straight?
Yes.
Did you know that wasn't normal?
Well, yeah, I was like, what is happening to me? And like even beyond that, this is one part I don't talk about a lot. When I was a child, I'm like obviously Indian ethnically, and I have a very hairy body. But like growing up in middle school and stuff, I would get like a very hairy upper lip and like get made fun of for it. My eyebrows were like it wasn't hip back to have like bushy
Now they are.
eyebrows.
Now they are.
Now they are.
But I had like super bushy eyebrows, like was just very embarrassed of my facial hair, and it was like almost an abnormal amount. And so it was things like that. I had a lot of bad PMS during my period. And then when I got my period, it was to the point where like my mom had to come to school and pick me up because I bled through like a tampon, a pad, and my underwear.
Oh my gosh.
You were wearing a tampon and a pad at the same time.
Yeah.
And you still bled through
Yeah.
it. Oh gosh.
Yeah, it was like very, very bad.
And to happen in school, like that's just horrific.
Yeah.
You know, like
So embarrassing. And it's like, even when I was working, it would happen sometimes.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, wow, something's wrong with my body.
Now? What about now?
Now I'm finally, this is like the past 2 years have been the first 2 years I've had a regular period.
Congratulations.
It was like, thank you so much. It was honestly mind blowing for me. I was like, this is the life. Like I love this.
at the ripe age of 30, you did it.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, are you on medication for your PCOS?
I'm not. Like,
Oh, wow.
I am all on natural stuff now.
It's incredible.
And I've tried and dabbled in like every sort of thing possible. I've had like an IUD, I've had the birth control pill, I've taken like everything.
What helped you get to this stage today? Was it your own supplements?
I mean, that was a big part of it. So
Okay.
I guess like the reason that we started Moom was because I found that supplements, dietary, and lifestyle changes really helped with hormonal imbalances, PCOS being the biggest one I had. But my sister has had really bad acne. She got acne as an adult. Like she never had issues growing up with acne, and different ways of like regulating her hormones through, again, diet, lifestyle, and, you know, even exercise, supplementation has really helped. But that was kind of why we started Moom. And I think for the past 2 years, me being really strict about it, also me being the founder of the business, I've obviously like followed the routine very strictly, and I've been able to get my period back, and it's been pretty amazing actually to wake up and feel like, okay, I'm not going to bleed through my underwear today.
the anxiety that causes you, right, around your
Yeah.
period is just mentally, it's very taxing.
Yeah.
So we don't realize how much our hormones rule over our bodies as women, right? And I remember when I was young, when I first got my period, I would have very painful periods for probably 4 or 5 years. Like I would go home from school and sometimes I can't even get out of bed because it was so painful. After I got on birth control pills, I have virtually no pain on my period. I don't know if that is linked to it.
No, it definitely is.
Because it regulates my hormones and my cycle? Is that...
I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
Just disclaimer.
Oh, none of us are doctors or medical professionals. We just want to say we're just sharing our opinions.
Personal experiences.
Go and see your doctor if you are in need of some help.
Yes. Thank you. But the way that birth control works in the body is it essentially regulates your hormones and gives you like a false period every month. So you're not actually getting your regular period. It's regulating the hormones and like, I guess, putting everything into a schedule. So that way, when you get your period, it's like what the schedule has asked for.
I like that because I'm very type A. So I like
Yes.
to know I will get my period today. And then I give my boyfriend a lot of notice. I'm like, okay, it's 1 week from my period. Okay, it's 3 days from my period. So he knows because my mood fluctuates as well.
Yes.
So he's like, she's crying today. There's a reason for that. It makes
I mean, there
sense.
doesn't always have to be a reation for the crying. Though.
That's true.
That's so true. That's so true.
That's also true.
Can I just say that I was crying half of yesterday for no reason?
Where are you in your...
I'm like
in
2 weeks away, so I don't know what's
Is
going
it
on.
usually that far away from the period that you
that's-
experience this mood swings?
No, mine is just I don't feel there's a pattern, or like I don't feel like my mood has anything to do with my period because I'm just like a little bit.
Okay, she's
All
just
the
a bit
time.
unstable.
But for me,
Just blame it on the hormones.
True. But for me, there's always a pattern. 1 week before my period, I feel these mood shifts, especially at end of the day where my energy is usually spent. I just feel so sad for no reason. I would drive home in silence. I wouldn't even put the music on, and sometimes I just cry to nothing. And I'm like, what's going on?
But that's like a hormonal thing for sure.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then after my period is here, I'm so relieved because I'm back to my usual happy self. Is there anything that can be done about this?
Well, about what, minimizing the effects of your hormones beforehand? Definitely. I mean, there are things that you can do, but I think also recognizing that our body does have this cycle. And you might be lucky in the sense that your cycle is regular enough where, okay, you know the week before your period, 2 weeks before your period, the week after your period, what's sort of happening in the body.
Right.
Someone with a hormonal imbalance, PCOS, endometriosis, like any sort of hormonal imbalance, might not have that like 28-day cycle that their body goes through. I always think about this meme. I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was kind of like, women's lives are so hard. You have like a week of your period, and then every other day is like another day of like a hormonal imbalance where you're about to cry and you don't know what's going on with your body. Something
But it's
like
true,
that.
it's
and
true,
there's like
yeah.
1 week in a month where you feel good.
Yeah, like 10 days in a month where you're like, I'm on top of the world. And then the rest of the month,
It sucks all over
you're like,
again.
oh, what's
Really
wrong?
unfair. You guys should only record the podcast on the days.
On the 10 days,
On the
right?
10 days.
10
yes.
days.
We should only be meant to go to work in the 10
For
days.
10 days.
Yes, Maya for president. But yeah, it's about understanding what your body goes through and then being easy on yourself on the days that you're like, like I used to really dislike my body when I was bloating, especially like right before my period. And I'd be like, what's going on? Like, why am I like 2-3 sizes up? Like I wear my jeans and I'm like, spilling out everywhere. Now I realize, okay, this is temporary. It's gonna be okay. This just body fluctuations.
Yeah.
You have to be easy to yourself.
But I think, like, to answer your original question, there are definitely ways to mitigate that, right? Like, and
Right.
supplementation is actually a big part of that. Diet is a big part of that. Lifestyle is a big part of that. What I mean by that is a lot of times people talk about this idea of cycle syncing. So in your 28-day cycle, break it down by week, for example. There are different things that you can eat. There are different exercises you should be doing that can
each
help
week?
in each week that
Oh,
can help
wow.
like actually nourish your body in that period of time. So for example, in the week before your period and during your period, when your energy is really low, you don't necessarily need to go to a HIIT workout or go for a run in order to nourish your body and give it the exercise that it needs. You should be doing low and slow movements, Pilates workout, yoga, go for a walk, right? Listen to the way your body feels rather than thinking, oh, I should go for a HIIT workout because then I'm going to feel really energized afterwards. It's actually just going to deplete your body even more. The week after your period is when your hormones are at a time where you're going to actually have extra energy. That's when you should be doing things like, maybe a weight workout or go for a run, do things that are high energy and high intensity. The ways that you eat as well, right? There's different, this is like getting a little bit like woo-woo, but there's also like seeds that you can eat during different periods of your cycle.
See,
Like what?
So like
fennel
pumpkin during specific times, sunflower seeds during specific times, sesame seeds during specific times, because they help to kind of like, it's almost like a natural supplement you can take to help mitigate the effects of some of the things that might happen during those weeks.
Well, I mean, for the girlies tuning in, like if you're thinking, hey, do I have hormonal imbalance? Here are some of the biggest signs. Of course, there are a lot of other things, right? But here are some of the biggest signs. Irregular periods, right? Delayed or missed period. Acne, especially adult acne or very stubborn acne. Like, for example, like your sister, you never had acne. Suddenly you have like an onset of it. Weight gain that you feel is just suddenly coming on, not due to any other major things happening in your life, because sometimes insufficient thyroid hormone production can cause something called hypothyroidism, which actually a lot of my friends have, that causes weight gain. Yeah. Also, really bad mood swings, fatigue. There's so many, like constipation, hot flashes, low libido, excessive body hair. It doesn't end. So if you find that maybe there's something not quite right, I think, try to look into it. But there are also a lot of things that can cause hormonal imbalance in your
like what
life.
Maya mentioned just now, I think diet is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
So what should we avoid eating? The usuals. Spicy food? Fried food?
no, spicy, please.
Maya, don't say that.
I eat everything.
Okay.
I really think it's like, I guess my philosophy, again, not a doctor, is like everything should be in moderation.
Agree.
I think like that was a big reason that we started Moom as well, a lot of people ask us like, oh, well, why don't you just eat like a super healthy, clean diet? And I'm like, well, that first off is going to make me unhappy. Like I don't eat super unhealthy for sure, but I like prioritize certain things. If I want to go out with my friends, I'm not going to be like, I'm just going to eat lettuce. Like that's just not going to happen, right? And so a lot of the supplements that we created were to supplement your diet and your lifestyle changes. But a big thing in diet is like high protein.
Oh.
It's really important for women. And it's like all the rage right now on TikTok. I think maybe America takes it a step too far and is like, eat 500 grams of protein a day. Like, okay, let's not get crazy. But like having a high protein diet is really important because it satiates you for longer, meaning you feel full for longer. So you don't overeat as much. It also gives you the energy your body needs. And it's easier to like build muscle when you're taking more protein as well. So one of the things that I've recently been doing that has really helped me with like hormone stuff is eating a high protein breakfast.
Oh.
I used to never eat breakfast. Like before
Same.
getting on the school bus, I was like, no way in hell can I eat anything right now.
I
Like,
love breakfast. It's my favorite meal day.
Right. And
I
it
was like
starts you
never.
right.
I was like never one of those people, but I love coffee, and coffee is bad for your hormones.
I don't think that should be the first thing you take in your
And
day.
that was the first thing.
But
Like
that's the first thing I drink
Yeah.
every
With no
day.
food in your
With
belly?
No food.
And
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
That's not good. Why is that not
well,
good?
you're a Huberman girl, so you follow the regimen, but. Like you shouldn't drink caffeine until 90 minutes after you wake, and you should always eat before you drink caffeine.
Oh.
I've been doing it wrong for the past 3 years.
No, because I think a lot of people take coffee as the first thing.
They do.
It's
do.
really bad for your hormones, especially as women, because basically it's giving you like a jolt before you've lined your stomach. It's also really bad for your gut, which
I
is
just
also
did, by the
related
way.
to your hormones. Like try eating for a week. I always tell people like just try it for a week. Try eating a high protein breakfast. Try to eat more vegetables. Don't like cut out things. Like add in. That's like my philosophy. Rather than being like, okay, I'm not going to eat all the things that make me happy. Just add in the things that are good for you. Take your supplements every day, drink more water, and like tell me how you feel at the end of a week.
Yes, Mom.
Okay, one more
We'll
thing.
try our best.
One more thing. What is it with cold water and women? Is it really true that like we shouldn't be drinking iced
That's
water?
what they say. Like when you're on your period, if you
Yeah.
drink iced drinks, your period pain will be worse. Huh?
But that's a very like TCM philosophy.
Okay. Okay.
Which like I subscribe to as well.
Oh,
Like, you should-
really?
But yeah, but I'm like a everything. I'm like, give me TCM, give me Jamu, give me Ayurveda, give me nutrition. Like, but I think that I don't know too much about that. Maybe you know more about it.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of drinking warm water only, by the way. And
Okay.
I haven't like really experienced much period pains, only every once in a while. So I kind of subscribe to that.
Yeah.
What about you girls? Do you drink
I feel like
ice
it's
water often?
an old wives' tale.
You think so?
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like, perhaps during your period, don't try to drink so
Right.
much, like ice drinks. But there's so many other reasons why you could have hormonal imbalances. Like if you are super stressed at work, if you don't sleep enough, over a long period of time, like that's really gonna mess up with your body. I know of someone who had an eating disorder for a couple years,
Yeah.
And
then
did not get the period.
and then developed PCOS from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a crazy thing about PCOS that people don't know is there's actually 4 different kinds of PCOS.
Okay.
It's not like one of them is post pill. So after you're on the pill and you stop taking the pill, it's very common to develop PCOS after that. Don't freak out
I'm
about it.
freaking out. Calling my doctor now.
The pill is working for you, right? So you shouldn't like say no to it. But post pill is one of them. The other is inflammatory. So that could mean like, and that is related to a lot of things that I hear in TCM. Like there's so much inflammation in the body. It's causing hormonal imbalances. The next is insulin resistance PCOS. So that shows up as things like weight gain and stuff. And the fourth one I'm forgetting right now.
Yours,
Yeah, which is
I'm like mixture of inflammatory and I think like it got worse a little bit after I took the pill, but I also got on the pill because of my PCOS.
Yeah.
I also have like cysts in my ovaries, so I'm like a very classic case.
too.
Yeah.
Hi. Ooh.
That you might have PCOS. Maybe not though. Maybe not though. I
Okay.
think like the other issue with PCOS is
Yeah.
like it's one of those things that doctors are like, oh, there's a name to an issue.
Okay.
So anyone that comes to my office that has symptoms that line up with this issue is going to be this issue.
Right.
So sometimes I have this like weird relationship with it where I'm like, do I really have it? Or are they just like taking all of the symptoms that sound like it and placing it onto a name because people like to hold on to a name? But that's like a whole nother conversation.
I mean, sometimes it's easier to understand when you label it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But it's interesting that we talk about birth control pills because I think a lot of women that get onto birth control pills, or I mean, they use it as a form of contraception, but
Yeah.
you're worried about how it's going to mess up with your hormones because some people gain weight, some people lose weight, some people like get depressed, anxiety. Like I got all of that because I was on one kind of pill and then I switched to a different kind. As I got older, I think my hormones kind of balanced out. But when I was young, like I think I was pretty depressed when I got on the pill.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it.
When you got on it,
When I got on it.
and then the symptoms stayed as you were.
Yeah, they stayed for a couple of years. When I switched pills, it got a lot better. But then again, I don't know, like, am I just depressed because I'm depressed? Like, there's no way you can, like, test your hormones. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Well, there is. You can test your hormones.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You can get hormone testing done.
Oh, really?
It's just
accurate.
What will you
Yeah.
find out of it?
So first off, it's very expensive.
Oh, okay.
Especially here. It is quite expensive. But there are ways that, like, I've done a huge hormone panel. I'm like high testosterone, which explained a lot of the things. Like I had high facial
hair.
growth. My hair was thinning as a child. I like the irregular periods, all of that. I had really low libido from the pill as well. And that was all related to my hormones. I got really depressed when I was on the pill as well.
Right.
And that's like a common side effect. But one of the things I was talking about earlier was like actually when you're on the pill, you get depleted of certain minerals and vitamins, which no one actually tells you about. Like it's very uncommon for a doctor to tell you that, but you get depleted of B vitamins, you get depleted of zinc. And those are two key vitamins and minerals that are related to mental health and energy. So having like really high fatigue on the pill is very normal because you're depleting yourself of B vitamins, but you need B vitamins for metabolism, for energy, for mood. Like, and those are all related to the side effects that you got, right? Yeah. And I think like supplementing in that case is really important because you need to put those ingredients back into your body. But also it's so hard because no one tells you this information. Yeah. So where are you supposed to get it? But then when you do a hormone test, it also depends on the doctor that's doing it to interpret it in a way that you need, right? I got one by a doctor that was like, your levels are all fine. And then I went to another doctor that was like, most doctors say levels are fine. But actually, if you look into it further, like the median range is so large. So if you're on the really low end of like the median range, it could be a problem. If you're on the high end of the median range, it could be a problem. Not to make things even more confusing, but I think like you definitely can get a test to understand. Yeah. I think the bottom line is like trying to understand your body more and listening to symptoms and being like, okay, this feels off right now. How can I tune into this a little bit more and lean into it a little bit more to see how much like I can now almost hack this issue, I guess. I don't know
Can I
if that
just say that? Have you got any idea how hard it is being a girl?
It's exhausting.
It's true.
It's a full-time job.
I know. And I've heard of so many people, women especially, saying that, you know, we really need to have our daily supplement intake. Honestly, I'm not on like much supplements myself. The only thing I take is something that protects me from the UV rays. So basically UV pills.
Yeah.
Like that's about the only supplement I take every day. But what do you find, like, do you see any changes in your body when you start taking supplements every day?
I mean, for me, a very obvious change is like I got my period back.
Oh.
That's like a huge difference for me. But I think I've always sort of believed in it just because I grew up in a household where like my mom was really into natural remedies. I was like drinking green juice, before it was like cool. My mom would make me chug like beetroot ABC juice when I was like 4 years old. I was like, this is disgusting. Now I'm like, ooh, cool. You were like the OG wellness influencer. But I think for me, supplementation has like changed everything. I think for a lot of people, they ask like, oh, but again, if you just eat a healthy diet, like why do I need to supplement? One of the things that like we talk about a lot is our naturopaths that help formulate everything say to us, the soil that our food is grown on today, unless you are eating pure organic, like beautifully grown ingredients, which like, let's be real, none of us are going to do because first off, it's way too expensive. And second, like it's kind of hard to get in Singapore. Unless you're doing that, like you're not getting the nutrients that you need from food. And let's be honest, like classic Singaporean Malaysian diet, you're definitely not getting the nutrients that
You mean my
need.
taugeh and my char kway teow is not
It's not
enough?
enough, honey. It's not enough.
I eat a lot of that.
You eat a lot of tauge. You're like, are you sure? Yeah, it's just you're not getting enough magnesium. 80% of the world's population now is almost deficient in magnesium. Yeah.
Oh.
It's like there's a lot of telltale signs that people just kind of ignore because they're like, oh, it's okay, I'm working out. Like to us, wellness, I think, because I grew up here, I'm from Singapore, like wellness to me meant exercise. But when I like lived in the US for a bit, when I had these hormonal issues, I realized like wellness is actually like total body health. Like what I eat is so important. The way that I sleep is so important. My stress levels relate to everything. Like one of the most surprising things I learned about hormonal health was like cortisol and stress are a big part of your hormones as well. All of those things are related, and that's why I believe in supplementation. Some people might not, but I think that's kind of like how I came to really believing and understanding that it worked.
Ever since I learned that your cortisol level, like a high stress level, can cause like literal like weight gain. You can see your face bloat. They call it moon face. I don't know. Yeah, moon face. Like you bloat up. Ever since I learned that, I feel like consciously when I feel stressed out, I'm like, okay, I have to calm down because I don't want to have moon face. It's very helpful mentally for me. But I think there's so many different kinds of like supplements and these things and brands on the market. It's very overwhelming. Like, I don't even know where to start. But to be honest, I've tried Moom Health.
Okay.
Your marketing's great. I was sucked in. I saw an ad for it. I was like, oh, okay, everything that I need in one pack a day, I'm down for that because I'm a lazy girl, right? I'm not going to buy like
We're all
5
lazy
different
girls.
things and then, try to combine them together. So then I just take a pack a day. It really helped with my gut health. I haven't had much issues with my skin, but just in general, I do feel like a bit more energetic when I take it every day. But you have to be consistent with it. You can't like take it once and be like, no change. Why?
I think the thing is that, first of all, most people don't even know what they're lacking. Like, they don't even know what they need more
Just
of,
take everything lah.
Oh,
No?
No,
Can
don't
like that?
take
is
everything.
there
okay.
such a thing as taking too much of something?
Yeah, 100%.
Everything in moderation, even supplements,
Yeah.
right? So tell us, what is the best-selling product in Moom? Like
Our
for
best
me,
seller is debloat.
a debloat.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I
I
love
just
that.
go for that.
I take it like before my period.
Yeah.
So then it helps with all the gassiness and all the
Yeah.
Do you go to the toilet after that? Like,
It's not like a laxative. It's not
Okay.
a slimming pill. We don't do before and after photos. Like, we don't really believe in that. It's more the feeling of bloat that you get will diminish within 60 minutes. And we've done a clinical study on it, like prove the efficacy of that.
I get very bingy before my period. Is that something to
Yes.
stop me from eating?
just yourself.
masking tape over your mouth.
No, but one thing I was gonna say, just to like take it back 2 steps, is you mentioned like it was so overwhelming how many brands there are out there, and that's how I felt when I was told by Natures like, oh, just go take a magnesium supplement. I went on iHerb. This is when I was like 17 years old. I went on iHerb and I walked into Watson's and I was like, but there are so many.
And
Like,
then the auntie tries to come
yeah,
and sell
then
you.
like, how do I know which one I'm supposed to take? Then there's like different forms of magnesium. It's so confusing. And so that's why we actually started with a personalized quiz on the website.
Okay.
Where you take a quiz, you like list down the symptoms that you have, and then you get a certain set of supplements recommended to you. When we talk about like building for the modern Asian woman, we took it a step further and we did like tests on Asian women and we looked at Asian women's diets to make sure that we were like aligning with our target audience. Debloat, for example, like a lot of the bloating supplements that you see on the market in the US are always like targeted towards gluten intolerance, dairy intolerance. But how often in Asian society are we eating gluten and dairy? Like not as often as we might get bloated from mala or beer, right? It's
Both I love.
yeah, exactly. So it's like I still want to eat those things, but like if I take a pill from the US that's like a gluten intolerant pill, it's not necessarily going to help me with like the spicy food that's in my belly. And so we worked a lot on testing ingredients that were targeted towards Asian diets. And that's how like we're continuing to kind of work with our community to build supplements. One thing like that we did a bit too much of when we first launched our magnesium supplement, this was like very early days of Moom. We launched with a 350 milligram pill. And we started getting a lot of feedback from customers being like, I'm not feeling too well on this supplement. It's giving me side effects. Like I'm going to the bathroom, which is sometimes sometimes a common side effect of magnesium, but it was almost like we were getting too much of those messages.
Okay.
So we went back and we talked to our like advisory board that was building the supplements, and we said like, we're getting a lot of complaints. And we realized, well, maybe Asian bodies and diets are smaller than US diets. And so maybe they don't need as much because it's too much to their body. We lowered it. It's now 250 milligrams. We have not gotten a single complaint. So I think it's also a matter of like test and learn.
Right. And I think it's also very important for us to listen to our bodies. Sometimes our bodies can be sending us messages, bad messages. So for example, our PD Mary, she says for some weird reason, if coffee or food is the first thing I take in the morning, I break out.
Oh.
So what she does to avoid that, she has to drink water and take some sort of probiotic, like yogurt, first thing in the morning.
Makes sense, yeah.
That stops her from breaking out.
PD Min says, my biggest problem right now is backaches.
Are you just not just age, honey?
That's because you sit on the floor while we record Hush Podcast for like 3 hours. Yeah, so she says it's my bad seating posture. So I stretch when I wake up, especially like, you know, do child's pose when you wake up. It's very good for your back. Yeah,
That's
stretch out
good.
your hamstrings. Okay. All the best. You'll be all right.
Good luck.
And we also have another PD, our new PD Marie. She says if she skips a meal, especially breakfast during her period, she tends to get extremely bad cramps. Worse than she would usually experience. So what she does to avoid that, she makes sure to hydrate herself as well as eat a full meal before she starts her day.
Love that. Yeah. I think, you know, nutrition is very important, especially at the start of the day. So please,
Yes.
food before coffee.
Yeah.
Try it for a week.
I will do that from now on.
Yeah. And, you know, we were just talking about this because I know of some friends, you know, who cannot swallow pills. They literally have like, it just doesn't go down. And I was asking Maya, like, do you have anything in your arsenal that is like not pill based?
Yes. Coming shortly. Well, first, it's really interesting. We do have this hack to swallowing pills.
Oh, really?
Cut it.
Well, cutting it is a bit like ours are capsules, so if you
Right.
cut it, like
the
everything's
powder,
right
okay.
there. But you can open up our capsules. Our capsules are made by like plant-based cellulose, so you can actually just like break it open and put it in a drink. It's not going to taste good, like it won't. But we learned from one of our nutritionists that if you take the capsules, I wish I had them with me. Put water in your mouth first, so you drink the water, and then you put a capsule in, and you look down. I guess it's some like physics thing. The capsule will like float to the top of your mouth and just go down your throat without, like, you will not feel it.
Really?
Yeah, it's really crazy. So basically, you drink the water, you look down, you put the capsule in, and it'll just go like down.
You don't even have to swallow?
No, it just like, okay, I mean, you have to swallow the water,
Okay,
but
you,
like,
so you, while looking down, you
swallow.
basically ingest a pill.
and it's crazy. It actually works.
Let's try that next time.
Yeah, we should have
try
done
it
it
later.
Denver.
Yeah, learning some later.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Usually what
crazy.
I do is that I just like drink really quick. Like, you know, just like whoosh.
Yeah, but I mean, if you can do that, then like go ahead.
I've
No,
seen
on the
people-
contrary, I look up. I look
same.
up for it to go down.
I've seen
Apparently, if it's like a tablet, like not a capsule, a tablet, you look up, and if it's a capsule, you look down.
Oh.
I don't understand the laws of physics, so I'm not going to tell you why it works. But
I'm not sure why. But I've seen people that swallow pills without water. That's a
Oh,
bit like,
yeah.
No, that's a
that
bit.
freaks me out.
That's a talent.
That's another
Like,
level.
I saw my friend just pop a Panadol and just swallow it without. I don't know. I thought it was a cool party trick. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
You should not be taking pills at a party.
No.
Neither should you,
That's not what I
medicine.
meant.
Well, maybe they weren't drinking.
Okay.
I'm trying to look for the thing. I put it somewhere. Where is it?
Oh, but sorry, I didn't even answer your question. This year,
Yeah.
everything we're launching is actually going to be powder-based.
Yay.
Okay.
So the reason this took us so long is because obviously everyone here in Singapore is a foodie and like cares a lot about taste.
Oh, that's me.
Our
Yeah,
team
yeah, yeah,
included,
yeah.
right? We're all like, oh my gosh, if it tastes bad, we're not going to drink it. So it's taken us a very long time to get taste correct. We worked with some of like the biggest flavor companies in the world and we weren't happy with what happened. And so then we found this farm in India, like grows fruit and vegetables on their farm and takes extracts, like freeze-dried extracts and flavors supplements with them.
Wow.
So the supplement, we can chat all about it, is a hormone and fertility support. It's an inositol blend, which is one of the most proven supplements to help with hormonal imbalances and PCOS. It's actually like one of the most clinically studied supplements in the world. It's very, very good for balancing hormones, but it's flavored with lemon and it's literally like a freeze-dried lemon powder.
Wow.
We kind of took a play on like the idea of like a wellness lemon water every morning, and this can be your replacement for that.
So you take this every morning, like forever? I mean, you could.
Forever.
And how does it help with fertility?
So it really helps with like ovarian care and egg quality. So it helps to boost egg quality, enhance your fertility. It helps with preventing gestational diabetes, which is like preterm birth and a lot of defects that could happen. So it's really good for women who are trying to conceive, who are pregnant. You can even take it postpartum. One of like the random things it helps with, which I guess is not so random because it's like a hormone support, is it helps with sleep.
Oh, okay.
So even if you're like a menopausal woman, this can help a lot with your sleep.
Well,
It's interesting that she mentioned, for them, taste was really important because the only time I was consistent with my collagen was because it was so yummy.
Yes.
I took it every day. It was
Okay,
the only
good to
thing I
know.
took every day.
Yeah, because I mean, you're not going to take like a... Actually, I want you to try this entire... Hopefully it's up to your standards and all like...
If not, it's back to the drawing board.
Sorry, it's launching on April 16th, so we can't go back now.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many options out there. It's just you have to learn more about it. And hopefully we were able to cover some of your queries and concerns. If not, please put them in the comments so that we can hound Maya and get her, get her to, give us a bit more answers on that. But again, we are not medical professionals.
yes.
We're just here to try and help. We're also exploring our body's own problems.
Like what Germaine mentioned, if you need help, please consult a doctor. And of course, we are more than happy to see your comments. You can find us on Instagram at itsclarity.co.
That's right. You can listen to us on Me Listen, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Turn on your notifications.
And we're on YouTube as well. So check it out. And yeah, go and check out Moom Health.
Yeah, thank you so much, Maya.
Thanks, Maya. Thank you very much.
See you next time. Bye.
Like, I remember when I was young, sorry, it's okay. Please come.
Oh
Anyone
no,
else sneeze?
it happens.
I know. She's like trying to hold it in.
Are you okay?
Just
Okay.
let us know if you need to
Yeah.
cough. Okay, I'll pick it up.
Jermaine, your fringe.
Wait, which one? Which side? This side.
Just a bit. Okay.
Thank you very
Beautiful.
much. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
You guys are so nice to each other.